What's up, YouTube? Back with another video. Thanks for watching. All about that positivity, motivation, and inspiration. So anyway, I came with this topic, which is it's just a movie review of The Matrix Resurrection, the newest one that just came out. So anyway, I wanted to talk about my thoughts on the movie, and then and my honest opinion about what I thought the meaning of the movie brought with it. So anyway, we'll get right into it. I'm going to jump right into the movie and my thoughts because I watched it like twice because I wanted to watch it twice to see if I missed anything, any little gems and little bit of I feel like signs or probably like messages that the movie or the director was trying to put into the movie to give people to help them understand the reality we live in, or how the symbolisms that come along with the construct of our reality and our system that we live in today. So anyway, so far in the beginning of the movie, I was kind of just stuck on the fact that how the one girl was in the beginning of the movie, the homegirl was she came in and she was basically they're trying to find Neo, because we all know from the past he was the chosen one. He helped bring down the system with the fight with the machines. So he ended up disappearing, right? So he disappears. No one's seen him for years. This is what happens. No one's seen him for years after him and Trinity left on the ship. When they left Zion, they left on the ship. And then they went to the robot land, whatever. And then nobody seen him after they shut everything down, and then everything restarted. And then they just end up creating a new land called Io, which is for the humans or whatever to live. The ones that's awakened, that's where that's the new city. So anyway, she been looking for him. Her and her gang, her little setup, her team. So anyway, bet. So anyway, now it goes to Neo, right? Neo, he working for a gaming company. Basically, he built a game based off of his past experiences, which was his past. Basically, he built a game where everybody plays a game that where he lives to take down the machines. But it seemed when you watch the movie, it's he's having flashbacks of what he went through when he built this game. So anyway, I was kind of confused because I was like, how is he still alive? Because in the movie, it shows him dying, as we all know. You feel me? So I was like, okay, how's he alive? But it's is there something we missing? So you watch the movie, you're just okay, whatever. Maybe, maybe it's a new start. Maybe the system restarted, and it just put him there, and now they have to wake him up again because because they said the Oracle and the dude who runs the machines and the program, the master programmer, he said that it all starts over. It rushes, then starts up. So I'm thinking he was just a blanked out Neo. He kind of built the game based where it's there's chemistry and they don't kind of know why. They just have this feeling you know what I mean? And then she even noticed, they talk, and then the guy he works with, his handler, basically his little assistant of the company who works with him, he introduced them, was hey, because they was eyeing each other, but they never talk, you feel me? Because they don't remember each other like that, but they got that chemistry. So they talking and whatnot, and then she the girl in your game, she like motorcycles, and I like motorcycles. I told my friends, you feel me, don't y'all see a similarity? And everybody laughed. So they call him Thomas. Because now they're not even they're playing games you already. They're not trying to do anything to give you any hints of who your past self was. What made him the one. So they put in Morpheus, I guess, to either I guess to go in the system and be able to navigate and blend in as an agent, and also to blend it and also be Morpheus, where he can help Neo when he needs. He can play two parts in the game without being you know what I mean? Because remember Morpheus, so he didn't work. So then the second time comes in, the girl who's helping him, because he had like saved her, because when he seen him jump the first time and he didn't fall, that's how they knew, like, this world ain't real. So they kind of like, it helped. He was like basically half balding and shit. Like he looked old, like an old man. Um, and then they ended up saying, like, they was like, how long have I been gone? There's like, you've been gone for like 60 years. So it's like 60 years he's been like work in the system, like reality where it's not real, but he's been basically sleep, like sheep, because they've been like basically they kept him hidden in plain sight. He was like, how you guys didn't find me? Not like before when Neo could be like, he can. It's weird. It's like he does this thing where he push you with a force, like kind of like with a force field, like kind of energy, so he can push you off and like push you far away and shit like that. Like something that he didn't do before, like because before he'll punch you and make you fly or something like that, or like he'll do like this kick or something, you know what I mean? But now it's like he can use his like hands as a force, it's weird. I ain't never see why he was able to do that, because only Morpheus was showing him like all the things he could do, you feel me? So this is kind of different in a sense. So I didn't get why he was doing all that stuff, because it never showed in the original ones, like him being able to learning how to do that. So it's kind of like he was coming up with new things we never seen him do before, you feel me? And on top of that, he couldn't even fly like he used to back in the day. So anyway, so he's trying to figure out, because when he was born, again, he came out the pod. Like the pod, he came in the second movie, I think the first movie he come into the pod in the machine world, and then they pick him up. So in the machine world, they have like they're friends with some of the robots, because when Neo or Thomas went to the machine world in its third movie, and he fought them. He showed some of the machines like, hey, like some of y'all can be woke up too. Like the machines are actually like living, thinking, and they became and they've grown a conscious, and some of them end up switching. I guess they'll end up switching sides, and plus when most of because the robots used to feed off the humans, in a sense, you feel me? They needed the humans to kind of like survive. So when the humans started like dying out, the robots start fighting each other. And in the process, it kind of helped other robots to wake up that like maybe all robots ain't good, and sometimes the system is not the best way to do things. So now the robots kind of work with the humans too to like survive. Like they work with each other to like keep each other like sustained, like to keep each other like happy and sustained in a reality that we're like we all understand what we needed. You feel me? Not this fake reality where it's like I use you and that's it. You feel me? So anyway, bet. So the robots grab Neo from the robot city where he's born and take him back to the, back to the, home base. You feel me? Where the other people are at, the other the waking survivors, right? So anyway, he noticed before he left the pod, there's two pods, and he knew like, okay, if there's two pods, that means it must be one for someone else. And then he go back and ask them, he's like, who's the other pod for? And they're like, well, we were thinking it was for Trinity. So he knew off the top, like, okay, I got to go back and get Trinity. I don't want her to like, they can't, they grabbed her body, but they can't. You know what I mean? Or like, what's up? What's your choice? Because you don't feel, it don't feel right. You feel that pull, and I'm trying to, and then she's like, I know that game was kind of real, and I can feel it. And then he was like, yeah, it was real. But she was like, oh, I can't. I'm different now. I'm not the same person. So she started walking out because her fake husband, the bot, and her fake kids came in. I was like, Mom, you gotta come with us. Like, what you doing here? And they're pulling her away. And then she made Neo think like, oh, I'm not coming. So they grabbed Neo, and Neo was like, damn, I guess not. So she stopped right before Tim, the guy who turns it on. But the other program, who was Mr. Smith, the agent, he came out and was like, nah, I'm done with you being the boss and you like putting your neck on me. And like, he wanted to be free too. He kind of like, he needed, when Neo came out and started doing his thing, it motivated him to come out because he felt more free and more, he had more power to do what he wanted to do. So boom, he come out. He's like, he tell the psychiatrist, like, hey man, I'm not doing this no more. It's over. So he was like, I'm taking you out because you gotta go. So basically, he starts shooting at him, and psychiatrists start running because he's like the master program who's like keeping all of them in check. So anyway, because the way it works is the machines want productivity. Like they want they want more energy. Like the energy that powers everything, the Matrix, comes from Trinity and Neo. Because I guess like they're like their bond was like so like radiant, like it was radiant. Whereas for like whenever they come together, it creates this powerful bond, this energy they never seen before. But when they separate that when you separate the two, it doesn't happen right like that. Like so, if Trinity dies, Neil is not like the same person. Like he's not like because that love, that bond, it was different. It was like so powerful that like it's unbelievable. Like it just changed the code and everything. It just made everything more powerful, right? So it made like it made their world more better for the machines and the programs. So anyway, so that's the reason why they're alive today. Like so, Trinity and Neo died. So what they did was they reconstructed. They said it was like it would cost. They said it cost as much as building a house or renovating a house, but more expensive. So 2 times more expensive. So they reconstructed Neo from the toe up, like all the way from his whole body. They reconstructed Neo, and they jump out the window and they dive into the ground like that's bombs. Like imagine somebody jumping off like a 12-story building, trying to hit the person that's on a motorcycle, so they can stop or whatever, so they can destroy. Because he's just trying to wipe them out because he can't let them escape. Because he can't let them escape the Matrix because then they're just like you can't control them. They need them for the control. They're trying to control them. It's a war, you feel me? So anyway, they're trying to kill him now. So they get so Neo, Trinity, and their friends, they are in the cars. They trying to escape out of there. But all these people are getting swarmed by these robots. They're bots. They're people, but they're bots. So anyway, they're getting swarmed, right? So one's getting attacked. One car's getting attacked. It's flipping over. They trying to get out of there. But they're really after Neo and Trinity, so they don't really kind of go after them. They just chase them down. They make them crash. They fuck with them a little bit. They trying to shoot them and shit. But then Trinity and Neo, Neo's on the back of a motorcycle. He's just like using that force field energy. He's pushing people off him. Like he's not killing them. He's just pushing them off. Like whoosh. Like they just getting pushed back. Like with a force, you know what I'm saying? So like whenever they trying to jump down and kill him or like dive on him, he just push them off. Like Trinity's driving and he's forcing them off, and they're driving to this building, and then they go up to the top of the building, cause they getting chased with guns and shit. So they get to the top of the building, and then they go to the top of the building. And then there's a helicopter, right? And then so I was like, I'm not doing this. This is not me doing that. And she's like, oh, because usually it's Neo that's doing the flying. So Trinity's like, oh, that's me. So then another helicopter comes up, is about to shoot him, and then she's like, bye. So then they just take off up in the sky, and then it's over. They take off and it's gone. So I'm just like, wow, okay. And then the scene's over, right? So then now that they can fly, they come back. They rip the side of a house open. And then they just whoosh come in. The psychiatrist chilling on the couch, and then he's like, "Wow," he was like, "Pretty much that's dramatic. You didn't have to come in like that." So anyway, they came back and they were like, he was like, they just come back and Trinity came at him like kind of like on some disrespectful shit. You know, she's just like she kicked him in the jaw, and then he was like, "What's this for? Like, what are you doing? Like, what's going on?" And it was like, "Oh, that was for That was for like what you did. Like you used those kids to like manipulate me and shit, and all that. And then it was like Neil was in the back just chilling. He wasn't doing nothing. He was like, "Hey, that's on you, man. So we come to see you. We just came to see you." And then he was like, you guys think you guys can have fun if you want. Go ahead and do your thing. Like you go ahead and change the sky blue, whatever. Have fun. But just know we ain't gonna lose the war. You feel me? Basically. So anyway, he was still talking shit to Trinity. And he's like, really? You called me Tiffany? And then he was like, yeah, it was a joke. And then he was like, what kind of sick joke is that? You calling me Tiffany? And then he was like, well, it's funny. And he's like, if you didn't like the name, why did you be so obedient like a little bitch? Like basically. And then she just basically kicked the jaw off him. Like she literally kicked him so hard his jaw came off almost. And then they kind of like, and then it was crazy because with a snap of the finger, she brought the jaw back to his face. Like it was crazy. Like they had like so much control now where like they can control the programs. Cause like as soon as she kicked his face, his jaw fell off, and then she snapped her fingers and his jaw came back. It was like, wow, that's crazy. And then she kept swinging on him, and then he was talking to Neo like, you can't stop her, you can't, like, cause he was beating her ass. She was beating his ass, and then they were like, nah, we just want to say thank you, and he was like, thank you for what? For giving us a second chance, and then they just took off. And that was pretty much the whole end of the movie right there. I gave you kind of like a little like sprint version of it. I gave you a little quick version of it, but because I wanted to tell you my kind of thoughts on it and what symbolism I thought it had to do and related to like how I feel like the Matrix always had like kind of like a blueprint of how like we live today in society. And it's basically like how it talked about like how they use like the symbolism of the video game and then his past life, how he thought, how he lived and everything. I thought that had a lot to do with like how we live today. And just, you kind of feel like when you in life, you feel like this is just like, this could be a video game. Like this could be like Sims. You ever play the game Sims? Like it's a simulation, and they made games off of it, and you just thinking like. So anyway, back what I was saying, like when it felt like like you had to buy the house, you gotta you gotta get the couch, and it all take money. Like they had the little jewels symbol, but it all was like, it was kind of like money, right? Currency, right? So you use the jewels, you get your car, you get you the house, you get your backyard, a pool, and all this stuff, and then you get to live in it, you get to walk around, change your clothes, have your friends over. It was kind of like you playing you in a simulation. So that's how it's like, but you create a simulation when you pick the little things. You get to move the couch around, you get to move everything around your house, and you create that reality, right? So that's how I feel like the world is. Like they don't want you to know, but you have that ability to create your reality. But then they have you stuck in a company where you building a game based off of your reality. It's kind of stupid, but it's like they make it so hard for you to, like, you seen how like 2019, 2020 was, a lot of entrepreneurs, they came and gone. Like people have businesses, and they make it hard for you to do your own thing when you create your own reality because you gotta go back to the system. Like a lot of people, they're on unemployment, so now they getting money from the government, and they basically doing what? Like they're not really doing much. Like they trying to like act like they're doing much, but really they basically living off the system where it's like without the system they couldn't really live today. They couldn't really survive how they want to survive because if you can live without the system, then you have more power, right? Because you can do what you want. And that's what I'm saying. Like, a lot of people don't understand, like, how a lot of times, sometimes you feel like there's bots that's just like, you don't, like, I be feeling like sometimes they be like that too. Like the movie, how I use examples of the bots too. Like, you don't know who can be a bot. Like, it can be real. That stuff can be real. Like, you mean saying, like, they be putting a lot of stuff in movies that can be real. Like, think about how, like, I told you about Sims 4. Stuff like San Andreas. San Andreas, you think it's just a harmless game they just created to entertain you, but really they be trying to give you gems on like how you create your own reality. Look, San Andreas, they no reason that game made so much money. It's because they knew that it's gonna help you relate to what you're feeling like, cause you gonna be able to do the things you wish you can do like in real life. You know what I'm saying? Like people be on that game like 24/7, like playing San Andreas, playing all these different type of games. Like when you can go out and do it yourself, if you just knew how to use your own like if you knew how to control your mind where you can do anything you wanted. Like you know what I'm saying? Like if I had the time, I would, like if I had the time and I knew how to like really construct my own thoughts and my own, abilities, like I would do like everything that came to me. But I know like they got bots that would like block you from doing that. Like there's real things that's like bots that's gonna stop you from being able to do that because it's in the system. Like the system's not gonna let you do whatever you want to do. Like you think you can do whatever you want to do when you're dealing with a system. It's not gonna work like that. You can say all that shit you want. It's like, oh, if you be positive, and nah, it's like you're dealing with a system that's like it's built to like have parameters to like decide if you're gonna be able to get in or not. If you're gonna play along with the system and the game, that like think about that. Like when you go to work and everything, how do you know like somebody's not like programmed to be a certain way, like in a system? Like so like say like you wanted a certain opportunity, right? But you knew like, but they somehow like never looked at you, or they always did something different from you. Like you couldn't be yourself. You feel me? And they always try to make it seem like you can never do it right. Like, cause they know like once they give it to you, you gonna be unstoppable. Like how you like that's the crazy part about the Matrix in the movie. Like they didn't want to give Neo Trinity. Trinity could be a symbolism for like anything. Like she could be a symbolist for anything. Like once they gave you that little like whatever it takes, whatever is your like your true love, whatever they give it to you, like when they give it to you, they know you're gonna be unstoppable because the system knows like when you're the one, like when you're the one, you show like little examples of it. So it's kind of like that's why I think about this movie is kind of crazy because how like it shows you like it gives you examples of symbolism of how like the system knows is aware of everything. Like they know about all the little shit that you're capable of, and they find ways to like block it all the time. So that's what I think about the movie. The movie was kind of cool because as far as like how the director took a different approach to it, and like he didn't kind of come with the same old rah rah. He came with the it had the same thing with the machines chasing them with inside the ship and everything and everything. They didn't have too much of like Oracle or nothing like that. They did give they did give some other characters like kind of like a redeemable like backstory. Like there's some scenes in the second, I think the third Matrix that kind of resemble like characters, and they kind of use those characters kind of make sense of like the old characters that probably passed away and who got they called it a purge. So also the machines did a purge in a lot of programs because there a lot of them a lot of the people some of the people in the Matrix were programs that has certain duties. That's what and like the keymaker and the person the train to do, and they all some of these programs had specific duties to do for the machines, and they got purged, so they got deleted. And then some of they had kids too, so they can have kids, and basically they can have kids, and basically those kids remember like they remember what happened, and then they side with Neo because Neo was always fair and he was always fighting for like freedom, basically. So that's what it was really motivational because Neo was basically like he wasn't just the one, he was like he stood for freedom. So even when he died, Morpheus, the old Morpheus, he took over Zion as like the head the head guy, like basically like the president. And then he passed away, like of course, and left Niobe, his one of his good friends, in charge. But it was just crazy because the movie had a lot of symbolism in it that like really resembles a lot of what we live in today. Especially like I told you about dreams and how your dreams are like they had to have meaning. Like people say your dreams have like people try to read into your dreams and shit, but only you know what your dreams mean. So you gotta be the person who like really dive deep and understand what your dreams mean, because only you know what your dreams mean, because you're the one who's in them. You know what I'm saying? That's your reality. Like you create that reality for a reason. Like sometimes people say, oh, it's because that was the last thing you were thinking about. Like nah, because even if you was thinking about it, it wasn't exactly that. Like your dream is completely different. Like there's some of the things in my dream I could never thought of. Like I could never had seen some of the shit I seen in my dreams. Like I know I might have seen someone's face, but that don't count for all the details I seen. Like I was doing this, they was doing this. Like you know what I'm saying? Like it was just crazy. Like your dreams have so much. You have so much power in your dreams. Like your brain can do so many things. It's like you couldn't fathom. Like and then also some dreams like I feel like your dreams show you previews. Like you think I'm shitting. I'm just like telling you, your dreams can show you real life previews of like what you're capable of and what could come in your future. Like, cause you gotta remember your mind is like calculating so many different like possibilities. So like it knows, okay, if I do this, this is gonna happen. If I do this, this is most likely gonna happen. So if it knows your nature and knows your tendencies, your brain can actually calculate probabilities of what can come of your life in the near future because it understands the system. Your brain is always like, so like, say like I'm always paying attention to like baseball. I'm gonna always understand the way the game of baseball works. It's like it's a system. Like baseball is a system. Like they do this. This person has this position. This person has this position. The batter has this position. The pitcher has this position. So probability of when he does this, I know probably like it's like anything. Like babe, like think about James. What's that dude named Bonds? Barry Bonds. He was a good fucking uh, baseball player because he knew the probability of like when he does anything. He knew when he was gonna like, okay, if I swing like this, I know I'm gonna hit the ball. When the ball come at this point, I know when I swing, I hit it, it's gonna be a home run. He understood it so well that he broke the system. Like they was like, nah, we gotta drug test him, because they didn't understand that he understood the system. Like he broke the code. Like when he was hitting all those games, like they try to say, oh, he was on steroids. There's no way steroids make you a better player. It like it's not gonna help your skill set. Like steroids is like it's like it enhances like your like it can enhance your performance, but it can't help your fucking like your skill sets. Like it don't. It's like it's not gonna make you like steroids or anything like that. Are not gonna make anybody into Michael Jordan. It's not gonna make anybody into like the best running back or the best quarterback. It gives you like energy. Might give you some strength, but it's not gonna give you the skill to do what you do all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just not gonna happen. And just because you get stronger don't mean you can hit a home run. Like that's just not it. Like I know a lot of strong people can go out there and try to swing a bat, and they're not gonna hit shit. They're not gonna. You don't know how to read the you don't know how to read the pitcher. You don't know how to read. Like you don't know how to stand with the bat. You don't know. There's so many things that come into like professional sports. Like these drugs don't do the like drugs help like with pain and shit. Like you know what I'm saying? And it's like if everybody's taking and then another thing is people don't say like a majority of people are doing like what everybody say that they don't be doing, and then they're not. Everybody's not great players. So it's saying like it's not the drugs that's making it like popping like that. You know what I'm saying? If you talk to Barry Bonds, like, hey bro, like tell us what really going on, bro. He be like, man, they was hating, bro. And everybody was doing. Like think about everybody before him that was doing that shit. They never got to the Hall of Fame. Let's be real. They took him out the Hall of Fame. Like they took him out the Hall of Fame because he glitched the system so hard just by being so great. They took him out the Hall of Fame. So anyway, get back to topic. When you think about like, I'm telling you, like when you understand the system, it's like you can break the code, but like you gotta. That's why I be so worried sometimes because I don't want to do something like that's not me. Like, because if I sit there and do something right, and I'm trying to break the system for something that it's not me, then it would be like I'm gonna be used. I feel like I'm gonna get used because people gonna see that greatness, and they're gonna use it for themselves. You feel me? Because you in the system, bro. Like you understand, like you trying to break out the system. So if I'm just doing one thing, serving one master, I'm serving that master. I'm not serving myself. So I be trying to like, I'm like, damn, okay. Because if you two like, okay, think like this. You see how like Neil was good at what he was doing. They could have left him dead. This is what my example is. Neil and Trinity, they could have left him dead. But the reason they brought him back was because they were so good at what they did as far as breaking the system and creating new ways for them to they think about it. He created bullet time and other things based off. He said his record numbers of like productivity went up like tenfold because Neil and Trinity were still alive. He said basically they were never more happy with him because the psychiatrist, no, not the psychiatrist. The psychiatrist said this. He's like they were way more happy with him when he figured out how to bring Trinity and Neo alive. They spent more money investing in them to bring them alive, bring them back to life than anyone else. So it shows you like how important it was because they broke the system, and like when they found that they're good at something, they needed them. They found a need for them. So that goes for anything else. When you find you're good at something, you got to be careful because somebody's going to try to use you for it because they know that it don't come often that you find someone that's good at something that's good for them, like that they love to do. That's part of who they are. That's their code basically. That's their coding in them. Like that's who they are. You feel me? You only get that once in a lifetime. So when you got that, you gotta be worried of like who's around and who's trying to like leech on and trying to like, you know what I'm saying? Like you know what I'm saying? So that's why I just want to say like that movie Matrix. It really kind of helped you understand like okay, we know like this is a augmented reality. Like this is not all this shit in reality is not real, dude. Because you gotta understand like some of the food is fake. So, like they can manipulate the weather. They can now they talking about 3D. They even putting the shit in their face. 3D printing everything. Like they can 3D print a house. They damn near can 3D print a car. You know what I'm saying? It's like they can print. They basically if you can print things from a computer to real life, you know you in the fuck. You know you in the Matrix or something like it. Cause you basically printing things. You're not building it from like a material that's already here. You're basically printing it from a computer and going to like this little like basically like uh hardware that can print out something that can make something out of other like you know material like you know like you know what I'm saying. So like it's like you when you think about things like that, it's like you know you come into a new world where it's like they're putting it in your face because they feel like they know a lot of people like to be sheep. You know what I'm saying? I had to learn that from other people I've been around. You know what I'm saying? Because I've been a person who's like, I ain't never forget it. I told a special person to me that used to be special to me. I was like, hey, you know, whatever you want to do, I'll help you do it. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to just bust your ass and come every day and you know not and then you complain to me about not being appreciated when you got all the knowledge, you understand the system. So if you understand the system, why not go off and create your own thing, your own network, your own, you feel me? And that person looked at me and was like, nah, everybody don't want to be that position. I was like, you basically want to be, like, you know what I'm saying? You basically want to go back and just be used? You know what I'm saying? That was like crazy to me. Like, I love that person. So, like, I was willing to, you know, go and like just like the psychiatrist did for Neil, he invested twice as much just to bring him back to life, just so he can, you know, have something that can produce a lot of worth for him and his people. I was trying to do that for her, for that person, just so that way, you know, that person can be happy, and you know, and I didn't want nothing out of it. I just want to see that person happy. You know what I'm saying? So it was just crazy to me. Like people do rather be sheep and be sleep, but for me, like I'm just like a squirrel trying to find a nut. I'm trying to be me myself, but at the same time, it's like you want to find, you don't, cause like you at the certain age, you kind of like there's so many different different things you can do and different routes you can go. So you kind of like you're trying to find your own self in a way, you know, cause you know you in the world that's like, you know, you wake up, you know, like there's been a lot of points where like people told you what you want to hear and you're still trying to find the truth for yourself because everything ain't sweet. You know, I feel like there's a lot of stuff that's like not been said as far as like your true power in your mind, what it can do. You know what I'm saying? Like everything doesn't have to be so direct and so like by procedure and by the book. I feel like you can go outside that construct and create whatever you want to create if they let you there, but they don't want to allow you to do that because then you're gonna influence other people to kind of be like that. You know, because a lot of people who speak knowledge, they end up disappearing. Like anybody that starts speaking truth about how to do self healing or how to like educate yourself on finance or stuff or like try to be a leader, they always try to silence those people or get rid of them. And then they try to trick you. They start putting little stuff out like, oh, like you ever notice like back in 2 years ago, it was like, oh, this person was cloned. This person was cloned. This person was cloned. Like I feel like they put little like trick things out there to like kind of trick your mind where you start believing everything is like a trick when it's like really it's not. Like everybody is not being cloned. Like I don't think everybody is being cloned. Like everyone's not being cloned. I feel like people have been programmed to think a certain way, and then once they're awakened, now you think they're cloned because they broke the system. So you'd be like, oh, that person's cloned. Like, nah, they were just probably programmed by a certain system to think a certain way, and then they kind of broke it, and now you think they're clones. So it's like I be having different thoughts about different things because I feel like you should question everything because everything ain't sweet. You feel me? Like I feel like if you're not questioning things, like then how you having a thought process? Like you just gonna think you gonna believe everything? Like you're not even awake. Like even when I'm asleep, I'm not like you question things too. I'm like, well, that don't look right. That don't seem right. I don't think that's real. You know. So it's just like stuff like that. But anyway, that's my thoughts. My personal thoughts. The Matrix has a lot of symbolism on the things that we live today, on the way we live today, and I hope people understand it. Like when you're going to grocery stores and you just like like you walk into it, you see all these people walking around, like how they're not bots. Like when you watch people going in and out the supermarket, like when you see people going in and out of like a stadium, how they're not bots, bro? Like how like everybody's like, cause they even put in your face, like they show like the robots, like they creating like people like that's robots, but they look lifelike, like the what's it called, the Terminator. They look just like the Terminator when he don't have that skin on. They showed even the movie Terminator. They show you how like they create robots that look like humans, but they put the skin on them. Like they show you in these movies and they trying to put in your face, and like people so sleep that it's like, oh, we just gonna act like it's just entertainment. Like that's why I'm saying the Matrix, it gives you those little hints. Like for the people that's woke, it kind of help you understand. Like, okay, if he created a video game based off his previous life, and they kind of like they try to keep him asleep so he don't realize that his previous life was a video game that was real. And then they even put in the movie, they told him like he put a little glitch in his coding in the game in the game to like help somebody find him and to like break him out, because he couldn't do it because he was just too caught up in it. He couldn't do it. Like he needed help. He knew he needed help. You feel me? But it's just stuff like that. Like you gotta understand. Like I feel like every time you like we don't notice, like we don't realize how like we can be more surrounded like Neo is than we realize, like by like robots, like bots. You know what I'm saying? This might be kind of an extreme thought or like a far out thought, but it's like why not be able to think about the outside the box of things, the possibility of things, right? Because then what if the day comes and we're all looking around like, oh, I didn't see that coming. It's like because you didn't allow your mind to kind of expand its horizons. You got to be able to think when a lot of people are not gone. You know what I mean? You have to be able to think. You know what I mean? I know a lot of people are educated and they're very like thorough, and they have very reasoning, very clear reasoning and very logical reasoning. But it's like sometimes that hinders you because you're not letting your creativity and your imagination kind of like help you, guide you to connect dots that a lot of people want to connect. And I think that's important because if your intellect, you should be able to think outside the box. I'm pretty sure past astronomers and past like philosophers had to think creative and like imagine different things about the way the world was made and how it came to pass. And I feel like even they was around, they saw kind of like how a system was starting to be built, and they was starting to realize it. And that's why he got these great quotes. And I feel like these quotes have little like gems in it, hints in it about like they're trying to tell you like what's to come and what you're gonna see, and you should look out for it, especially if you woke. But yeah, anyway, that's my video. It was a long one, but I know it's kind of like all over the place. But you feel me? If you understand this video, you understand a lot, and it's just what it is. It's nothing bad. It's just you should be able to use your mind the way you want to. Is yours. You know what I'm saying? Don't be so caught up in like another universe when you can kind of create your own universe. You know what I'm saying? Like they create the metaverse. Somebody else created the metaverse. So think about that shit. And now look, all these people are flocking to it. Oh, and then what they do is this. I'm gonna give y'all some game. When somebody put money next to something, don't always think it's nice. Like, so when they say, oh, you can make money in the metaverse, and then you can buy land, you can do this. It's like that's basically what we talked about. That's basically a matrix they're creating for you, so you can be sheep. You feel me? Like, think about it. Like, I just told you about Sims 4, Sims 1, 2, 3, and 4. Like, you know how many kids were just stuck playing that game at home, being sheep? Like, they didn't worry about nothing else. So you can distract them easily. So you can have a fire outside. Man, it could be raining dogs and cats, and they're gonna be playing their little video game. Ain't tripping about shit else. You feel me? They could be zombies outside. They gonna be playing a little Sims game. Ain't tripping about nothing. So what I'm saying is, you gotta be careful because the metaverse, they know you're gonna flock to it because you like to be sheep, and they gonna make money off of it, and they get power off of it because they know they can control you because they know they got something that you care about. So you know what I'm saying? They create something that you care about, and then they can monetize it, and then all you gonna be doing is going home, spending your money on that, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? Like you already see it with then on top of that, I'm gonna talk about this. I'm gonna go there. Look at OnlyFans. How did OnlyFans? They make millions, not billions, off of OnlyFans. That's basically people just paying to like see someone else. You know what I'm saying? Like instead of going outside and meeting someone else and putting the time in, they actually made a fucking a system. It's basically a system where they got some other body, some one side it was a person to put themselves out there on a camera to advertise their self, which is their like intellect knowledge. Basically, when you enter, even if it's your body, you're still using your intellect to put yourself out there because you got to talk, you got to interact. So that's basically them taking your intellect to advertise it to the world to make more money for them. So basically, they was on some worldwide pimping shit. You know what I mean? They basically OnlyFans was like a worldwide pimp thing. Like they basically took what pimps knew, put it into an app, and use it to get other people to use it to advertise to other people to get money, but in a legal way. So this is the world we in. So it's like when you see things like that, you gotta just peep game. You know what I'm saying? So you know what I'm saying? Like some things I don't be interested in, I might not be the best, but like when I'm interested in something, I really be thinking about it through. I think it through, and I really be like zone. I'll be zoned in, and I be like concentrated on like what's going on, what moves, and like I really be trying to like, for me, I be trying to like trust my instincts really, cause your instincts is all you got. Like so, I'll just sit there and just be like kind of like tell myself, be patient. You know what's gonna happen. You kind of like your mind knows, but it's like sometimes you be tricking yourself out the bag. You know what I'm saying? Like you be knowing like, nah, bro, you good. You set yourself up. We good. But the system knows. Like I ain't got no doubt about it. The system knows. Like it watches everything, bro. Like it watches the videos. It watches everything.